Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. So we annihilated Pandæmonium and now it's in the underworld. Makes sense to me, not sure why everyone else is freaking out, but I suppose we'll have to remove it from this place or else it will probably consume all of the ether down here as well. And this guy apparently wants to eat all of the souls and fight with them. Maybe I'll make him learn a new hobby. It will be called shutting the f*** up. Time to learn about Anabaseios, the Ninth Circle. Simplified. Kokytos will cast Gluttony's Augur, which is a room-wide AoE. The first time this is cast, it will create a pink and purple aurid wall around the arena. Touching this wall will give you a 15-second unassumable bleeding dot tick. He will then cast Ravening. He will consume souls and gain a buff called Soul of the Mage while also getting magic bracelets, which are apparently the height of fashion down here. The following will only happen when he has this mage buff. He will teleport into the middle of the room and cast Fire 3. This will give 4 random players a fire point-blank AoE on them. Kokytos will then say Flames Take You as a triangular fire sigil appears on the screen. This will cause the fire AoEs to expand into much larger AoEs. You will need to spread out as best you can while everyone else moves away from these players to avoid getting hit by them. Following this will be the cast of Blizzard 3. This will create a donut AoE of ice. Kokytos will say Ice Bind You as a hexagonal ice sigil appears on the screen. This will cause the donut AoE safe zone to get smaller. The only safe zone for this mechanic is inside the hitbox of the boss. If you fail to make it into the hitbox in time, you'll get a Von stack. Kokytos will cast Dual Spell and put both the fire AoEs on 3 random players and the ice donut AoE on the floor. You'll have to see what he says and which sigil is shown on screen in order to safely dodge the AoEs. Regardless of which sigil he shows, I'd recommend the players with the fire AoEs to get to 3 of the 4 cardinal points. So if he shows fire, these players can move out to the edge of the donut AoE while everyone else groups up on the spare point that won't have an AoE. And if he shows ice, these players can stay in those positions just inside the hitbox as everyone else groups up in the spare spot. This way there's plenty of safe space for everyone and the fire AoE players can get away from each other and stay safe. Global Spell is a room-wide AoE with a 15-second bleeding dot tick. When Global Spell is gone off, Kokytos will spit out the soul and lose the mage buff. He will cast Ravening again and consume another batch of souls. This time he will gain the buff of Soul of the Martialist and his body will get a red glow. The following will only happen when he has this Martialist buff. He will cast Archaic Rockbreaker. This will be a blue knockback AoE from the middle of the arena. Just get close to the AoE to avoid being knocked into the wall. You can also use knockback immunity to nullify the push. After the knockback goes out, there will be cracks that will appear on the ground. There will be several spots of magma that will follow these cracks. When they reach the end of the crack, they will explode in a medium-sized AoE. You'll just need to move between 2 of the magma spots that are flowing down the longer cracks on the ground to be safe. If you get hit by an AoE, you'll get a Von stack. The magma spots will repeat, so dodge between them as best you can. When these second ones go off, both healers will get a stack marker with the cast of Archaic Demolish. The group will need to evenly split between the healers to soak the damage. These stack markers will also give a magic vulnerability up, so you definitely shouldn't group up the stack markers. The next room-wide AoE will return the arena to normal. Ascendant Fist is a tank buster. This will be followed by either front or rear combination. This will either be a point-blank AoE or a donut AoE, which is immediately followed by an arena-wide cleave in the direction of the cast, either in front or behind Kokytos from whichever way he's facing. So you'll need to not only get into the safe area for the first AoE, but you'll also need to make sure that you're on the correct side to avoid the cleave. Getting hit by any of these AoEs will give you a Von stack. After this goes off, Kokytos will lose the buff. He will then cast another Ravening, consume more souls, and gain the buff of Soul of the Beast. This will cause his mouth to glow green and he will crouch down on all 4s. The following will only happen when he has this beast buff. He will put point-blank AoEs on 4 random players with the cast of Charybdis. These players will need to spread out as best they can and avoid overlapping these. I'd advise these players to get out towards the wall to drop these off. When the AoEs go off, they will linger as a wind whirlpool on these spots. Touching this whirlpool will give you an unassumable windburn dot tick for 15 seconds. When these get put down, 4 more players will get a pink point-blank AoE on them as the boss casts Beastly Roar, which will be a knockback from the middle of the arena. You'll need to spread out to avoid overlapping the AoEs and position yourself to avoid being knocked into the lingering wind AoEs. You can also use knockback immunity to nullify this push. 1 player will get a stack marker with the cast of Pulverizing Pounce. Group up to share the damage. After this goes off, the lingering AoEs will disappear. Then the boss will cast Gluttonous Rampage. This will give both tanks tank busters 1 at a time, which will throw out damage based on distance. The tanks will need to get to the opposite sides of the arena to stretch the tether to a thin purple line. If you do not stretch this tether to a thin purple line, you can be instantly one-shot. There will also be a proximity marker in the middle of the arena, so everyone else will need to group up and move away from the tanks and the proximity marker. Following this will be the cast of Comet. This will put 3 proximity markers in a pattern on the floor. You'll need to get to the wall on the side of the arena that doesn't have a proximity proximity marker to reduce the overall damage to you. When the comets land in the arena, you'll need to quickly move behind the boulder that doesn't have cracks in it for what comes next. The boss will stand up and cast Ecliptic Meteor. This will be a site-based attack where the meteor will crash down into the center of the arena, so you'll need to hide behind the uncracked meteor to avoid the hit. If you fail to get behind this boulder when the comet hits, it will crater your health to 0. This will also go through Transcendence and all tank invulns. After the comet hits, the boulder that you are hiding behind will explode in a large AoE, and at the same time, one player will get a stack marker, so you'll need to get out of the AoE and group up to share the damage. If you get hit by the AoE, you'll get a Vuln stack. After this finishes, Kokytos will lose the buff. Whenever he consumes the Mage Soul from here, he will cast Ice Flame Summoning. This will drop 2 fire orbs and 2 ice boulders in a square pattern around the arena. He will then repeat the fire and ice sigils. Whichever one he does will cause the AoEs of the same element as what was shown to expand. If you get hit by any of the AoEs, you'll get a Vuln stack. The easiest way to dodge these AoEs is to stand in between the elements of whichever one he isn't expanding. He will repeat Ice Flame Summoning and explode the other set of rocks, whichever ones he didn't grow first. From here, mechanics will overlap and repeat until Kokytos has been defeated. Congratulations, you have completed the 9th circle. My name is Scrub. Thank you for watching.